It all began with a phone call I was never supposed to answer. One voice, one sentence, and suddenly every secret I'd buried came back to life. I thought I was invisible, just another ordinary man living an ordinary life. I was wrong, because somewhere in the shadows, a billionaire the world forgot was watching me. And he didn't want money. He wanted revenge. What happened next dragged me into a game of power, betrayal, and bloodless war, where walking away was never an option. This is the story of the hidden billionaire, and how his revenge changed my life forever. It all started on a rainy Tuesday, the kind of rain that soaks through your clothes and settles into your bones. I remember standing by the office window, watching the city blur into streaks of gray, thinking my life was painfully ordinary. A cubicle job, a rented apartment, a future that felt like a loop. I had no idea that within hours, everything I believed about my life, about myself, would collapse. The phone rang at exactly 6:47 p.m. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. That decision would have saved me nothing. "Don't hang up," the voice said the moment I answered. Calm, controlled, not rushed. "You're sitting near the east window, third floor, accounting department. You haven't finished your report because you've been staring at the rain for the last 4 minutes." My breath caught. No one could have known that. "Who is this?" I asked. A pause, then a faint smile in his voice. "Someone who has been invisible for a very long time." That was my first encounter with the man the world didn't know existed, the billionaire who had erased himself. For years, he had been a ghost. No interviews, no photographs, no public appearances. His companies operated under layers of shell corporations, trusts, and proxy CEOs. To the public, he was a footnote, if that. But behind closed doors, his influence shaped markets, destroyed competitors, and built empires, until the betrayal. His partners, men he trusted like brothers, had orchestrated a silent coup. They stripped him of control, rewrote ownership records, and framed him for financial crimes he didn't commit. By the time he realized what was happening, his name had been legally erased. They thought he was finished. They were wrong. "I know what you did 3 years ago," he said on our second call. "The falsified audit, the missing signature, the client who took the fall instead of you." I felt sick. Those secrets were buried, sealed behind non-disclosure agreements and bribes. Things I had convinced myself were necessary, harmless, forgotten. "They hired you," he continued, "my enemies. They needed small, obedient people willing to bend the rules. You were efficient." "I didn't know who they really were," I said. Another pause. "You knew enough." That's when he gave me the choice. Help him dismantle them, quietly, methodically, or watch my life unravel piece by piece. Careers destroyed, bank accounts frozen, names leaked, evidence rediscovered. He wasn't threatening me. He was informing me. Working for him felt like stepping into a shadow war. I didn't see him, not once. Every instruction came through encrypted messages, burner phones, files that self-deleted. He knew everything. Boardroom politics, offshore accounts, secret addictions, private crimes. One by one, his betrayers fell. A hedge fund CEO exposed for insider trading. A media mogul arrested after a sealed witness came forward. A politician forced to resign when recordings surfaced from 10 years earlier. The world called it coincidence. I knew better. And the deeper I went, the more I realized something terrifying. This wasn't revenge fueled by rage. It was revenge fueled by precision. He wasn't destroying them out of emotion. He was correcting an imbalance, erasing errors, like a god auditing reality. Then came the final twist. On the last night, he sent me a single file. My name was on it. A birth certificate, adoption records, old corporate documents. The truth hit harder than any threat ever could. My father, the man who disappeared when I was a child, was his former partner. One of the original architects of the betrayal. And I wasn't dragged into this by accident. I was leverage. "You were never a pawn," the message read. "You were proof. Proof that betrayal echoes across generations." At dawn, it was over. His enemies were ruined. His empire restored, this time untouchable. And my involvement? Cleaned, erased, rewritten like it never happened. One final call came through. "You're free now," he said. "But understand this. Freedom always has a cost." "What about you?" I asked. A quiet breath on the other end. "I'll remain what I've always been," he replied. "A shadow the world refuses to believe in." The line went dead. Life returned to normal, or something close to it. But sometimes when it rains on a Tuesday, I still look out the window and wonder, was he the villain? Or was he justice, finally done hiding? And more importantly, if a hidden billionaire can control everything without ever being seen, how many others are out there, watching us, waiting for their turn? Because revenge, I learned, doesn't end. It evolves. And this was only the beginning.